and welcome to my channel. My name is Melinda and I am a part-time reseller on the Poshmark app. My Instagram handle as well as my Poshmark closet name is Joyfully Curated. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you guys have been watching and enjoy my videos, I would so appreciate it if you could subscribe and hit the like button below. So today we are going to be doing a what sold video for the month of March. I have my dogs here. Shyla's over in this corner and Franny's over in this corner. Since they were such good girls last time, I thought I would let them just hang out with us for this what sold video. So I'm just taking a look here. I have my Poshmark app open and I'm looking at my sales for the month of March. I just realized that Poshmark has this feature that allows you to look at the sales from month to month. So pulled up on my screen, I have my sales from March and I just put in a range for March 1st to March 31st. And so I have my sales pulled up and it'll be easy for me to run through them with you guys. So I'm gonna start at the beginning of March. So March 1st, my first sale was this Anthropology skirt. It's by the brand Rachel Antonoff. This was such a cool piece. This is an Oregon Trail skirt. I grew up playing this game whenever I was in middle school, so it was very nostalgic for me to see this print. I sold this skirt for $60 and I actually picked this one up at Goodwill. I don't typically look through the skirts if I'm short on time, but this particular thrift store run, I did get a chance to look at the skirts and I found this amazing piece. It's one of my all-time favorite, I think, thrift store finds. So I was really excited to see it go to a good home. Then next up, on March 2nd, I sold this J. Crew tiered floral maxi dress for $85. If you guys follow me on Instagram, then you guys will know that I love these J. Crew pieces that feature these beautiful prints, so florals, animal prints. This happened to be a rarer piece and more sought after, so I priced it a little bit higher. It didn't take too long to sell, which was nice, and I picked this one up at Buffalo Exchange whenever I was in Austin. Next, I sold this piece on March 2nd. It is this Marc by Marc Jacobs short sleeve sweatshirt. I sold it for $20. And I actually picked this one up because loungewear is really in, like sweatshirts, comfy clothes are in. That's why I purchased this one. And I actually got this one from Goodwill. I thrifted it here in Houston and it did sit for a little bit. So I was very happy with the $20 offer that I received. My next sale is from March 5th and it is this Stella Forest top. I sold it for $20. I had never heard of this brand whenever I came across the tag, but I liked the print, so I went ahead and looked it up, and it looks like Stella Forest does have a higher retail value. I don't think it has the best resale value. It did sit for a while, so whenever the offer for $20 came through, I went ahead and took it. And then I picked this particular piece up at a Goodwill here in Houston. Moving on to my next sale from March 6th, it is this Reformation dress. This one is a red polka dot wrap dress that sold for $100. I picked this dress up at a Goodwill here in Houston. I call it the fancy Goodwill because it's in a nicer area of town and they get a lot of amazing donations. This piece was in the boutique section. So this area of the store is towards the front, like the entrance whenever you walk in. And they have a lot of like newer items, newer tags, items that they consider designer. And so Goodwill will price them up. In terms of pricing up, their prices vary. So I think this particular piece, it was new with tags. And I think they had it priced at around $20 or so. And I went ahead and picked it up just because this is a classic style for Reformation and people often like their wrap dresses. Moving on to March 7th, I sold this caftan dress by the brand Mirth. It sold for $50. And this is another brand that I wasn't familiar with, but I thought the style would be cute for vacation. People might like this kind of dress for resort wear. And when I looked up Murph, it did have pretty good comps. So I took it home and I think it sat for a couple months or so. Another sale from March 7th was this Anthropology moth sweater top. I'm rather picky when it comes to Anthropology, but I thought this piece was so unique and cute, especially with the little tulip appliques, that I went ahead and picked it up. It did sell pretty fast and for $35, so I was happy with that sale. It looks like March 7th was a really good sales day for me. Another piece that I sold was this Vince shirt dress. I sold it for $50. This was another piece that I had picked up from Goodwill, and this was also in that boutique section at the front. I think I paid around $15 for this particular dress. I wasn't sure how it would do with the pandemic because this is more of a like work or office setting dress, but I think people are going back to work slowly, and that's why I think this particular piece sold when it did. Another sale that I had on March 7th was this Madewell dress. I thought the style was so cute and I love the floral detail. This one sold for $45, and this is another dress that I picked up at a local Goodwill. Continuing with my March 7th sales was this Free People jacket. It was a piece that I actually picked up at a Clothes Mentor here in Houston. So I picked it up right before Clothes Mentor closed. If you guys haven't watched my Clothes Mentor haul, I show you guys everything that I picked up whenever the store was shutting down, and I bought those pieces for $5 each. I'm gonna go ahead and link the video right here if you're interested in watching. So this jacket here, I actually picked up a few weeks before it closed, like I said. I was very tempted to keep this piece just because it's so cute and it is kind of loungy, so it'd be really comfortable and I get a lot of use out of it. But I resisted that urge and I'm glad I did. It ended up selling for $60. Now we will move on to our March 8th sales. Included on this day was this pair of Everlane high-rise cropped skinny jeans. This was another item that I found at Goodwill in the boutique section. I've never sold Everlane jeans, but I've heard they do pretty well, so I wanted to experiment for myself. These jeans cost me around $15 and they sold for $30. So not much profit there, but I'm glad that I got to test them out and see how they do. In the future, I'll probably only pick up Everlane jeans if I'm able to source them for a really low price. All right, I had one more sale on March 8th, and it's a very, very exciting sale. So this was my second to best sale ever on Poshmark, and it is this Vampire's Wife gypsy floral print mini dress. And I'm gonna tell you guys all about this particular piece. This dress sold for $500. It was a very difficult piece for me to list, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. This piece here I actually sourced a year ago whenever I went to LA at a buy-sell trade store. This one I picked up at a Buffalo Exchange for $35. I had never heard of this brand, but I love the style of the dress and the print, so those two factors prompted me to look up the brand. And when I did, I discovered that this brand makes some of the most amazing, beautiful dresses. This is definitely a Bolo brand. I'm gonna show you guys a picture of the tag right here, so you wanna make sure you look out for it. This brand is very much loved by celebrities, including one of my favorite style icons, Kate Middleton. Here's a picture of her in the dress. And then I'm gonna show you guys a couple of other celebrities that have been seen in this dress. So the reason why this dress was a little bit complicated for me to list was because there weren't very many sold comps. I think this brand is quite difficult to find in the wild. That was the one and only time that I've ever found a vampire's wife piece. I've seen quite a few of the dresses listed on resale sites like The RealReal, so it does have a higher price point. If you are fortunate enough to see it, please let me know. I would love to find out what piece you managed to score. So that was the first challenge. And the second challenge is this dress looked to be a sample piece. And the reason that I knew it was a sample piece because the inside portion of the dress had this tag. And I'm gonna show you guys a picture of the tag. So when it comes to sample pieces, usually there aren't gonna be any comps, or if there are comps, there aren't gonna be very many comps. This is a sample, meaning that not that many went into production, or it didn't go into production at all, or it was kind of a prototype before they produced the real thing. I hope that made sense. Anyways, I didn't find any solds for this particular piece. It doesn't look like this was a piece that went into production. I'm not even sure how I managed to find the stock photo for it, but I priced it higher for that reason because it seemed like a rare piece. I know this brand has a good following. So I believe that I listed it pretty high, like in the $600 or $700 range sale. So whenever the offer for $500 came through, that was close enough and I took it. And I am so excited about this sale. I just hope that I'm able to find this brand again in the future. And like I said, if you guys have ever found this brand or if you end up finding it, please let me know because I would love to celebrate that victory with you guys. All right, now we're gonna move into March 9th. I sold this Anthropology Maeve lemon jumpsuit. This jumpsuit was so cute with the lemons. I tried it on and it fit me, so I was this close to keeping it, but I didn't just because I knew I wouldn't get too much wear out of it. I don't love strapless pieces, so I went ahead and listed it and it sold for $50. This was an item that I purchased at a local Goodwill here in Houston. Then on March 10th, I had one sale and it was an exciting sale. It was these pair of shoes by Christian Louboutin, and these are their craft logo flats. These sold for $250 and I picked them up at a buy-sell trade store here in Houston. I was really excited because I thought this style was so fun and unique, and also I've never found Louboutins, so while I did pay up for these, I also made about a $100 profit on them, so I'm quite pleased with this sale. All right, I have another pair of shoes to show you guys. So on March 12th, I sold these slides, and they are a Bolo brand for sure, and one of my favorite brands. These are by Irregular Choice, and this particular pair of slides featured the word peace on one of the slides and then love on the other one, and they looked like a fun camp craft, which I love that kind of thing. These were new with the box, and I purchased these at a buy-sell trade store in Austin. I found these ones at Style Encore. If I didn't already say, I sold these ones for $135, and these were priced pretty high at the buy-sell trade store. I think I bought them for around $50, and I knew the profit margin was going to be relatively small just because I paid so much for them, but I've never found this brand and I knew they would sell, so that's why I ended up picking them up. And so I was just really excited to have them in my closet, and the buyer told me that she wore them out to get her toenails done, and everyone was commenting on how much they love these slides, and I knew whoever ended up getting them would love them, and so that makes me really happy as a Poshmark seller. Then on March 13th, I had quite a few sales. First up is this set by Lenny The Label. This was a top, or rather a vest and pants set. And this is an Australian brand that I don't really have much experience with, but I thought this style would be cute for an outdoor festival, something like Coachella, and that's why I ended up picking it up. It sold for $40, and this was a piece that I purchased at a buy-sell trade store. I believe I purchased this one at Crossroads. Another sale from that same day, March 13th, was this Anthropology dress. This piece was by Stoder, and it was this really pretty beaded slip dress. And then this dress I purchased at a buy-sell trade store here in Houston. I purchased it at Crossroads. I just loved all the intricate details, and then once I looked it up, I did find that it was a rarer style. This one sold for $55. Another sale from March 13th were these pair of boots. These are by Free People. They're a pair of leather boots and they're called the Haze Boots. I sold them for $40. These were a retail arbitrage find. I purchased these at Nordstrom Rack. Also on March 13th was this LPA polka dot tank midi dress. This one was new with tags and it sold for $45. I purchased this one at Crossroads here in Houston. Moving on to March 14th, I had this wild fox cardigan that I sold. I really loved this piece and it sat for a while, so I eventually either sent out offers or I just took a really low offer of $30. This one I purchased at Ross. It was new with tags, and I probably would have ended up keeping it had it sat much longer. So I'm really glad that it finally sold. Also on March 14th, I sold this rixxo dress. It featured this beautiful tiger print and it was pink, and we all know pink has been selling really well for the spring. I sold this one for $138, and I kind of have a funny story about when I sourced it. I found this one at Goodwill, and it was actually a piece that was on one of those new racks that the employees roll out. And this rack had already been gone through by several people, including this one reseller that I often see at Goodwill. He didn't seem to know what rixxo was, which was lucky for me. They had priced this one up, but in terms of rixxo, I didn't think it was really priced that high. I think it was around $15 or so. rixxo is one of my favorite brands to sell and to wear. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys a picture of the label right here so you guys can be on the lookout for it. On to March 15th, I had one sale, and it was this Anthropology Soul Angeles Tiger's Tee. I sold it for $35. This actually came from my personal closet. I think I had worn it once or twice, and then I wasn't reaching for it, so I just decided to list it on Poshmark. Then on March 16th, I had one sale. It was this capulet white mini dress. It's called the Gemma dress. I sold it for $45, and I picked this one up at a buy-sell trade store in LA. I can't remember, but I either picked it up at a Crossroads or a Buffalo Exchange, and I probably paid around $10 to $15 for it. This one was also new with tags, and it looked like it had been sold at Anthropology. Capulet's sometimes sold at Anthro, but it's also sold on its own. On March 17th, I sold this dress. It's by the brand Steel. I'm not familiar with this brand, but it reminded me of Spell or Arnhem. They both make really pretty floral dresses, so I went ahead and picked this one up. It sold for $45, and I picked this one up at a Goodwill. Next, on March 19th, I sold one of my favorite dresses. Shyla's just stretching there. I sold this Love Shack Fancy Clarissa Ruffle maxi dress for $310. I had gotten quite a few offers on this one. I priced it high. I think I started off around $500 or $600. Because this one retails for a lot. It retails for $795. There weren't very many listed at the time, so I priced higher, but it did end up sitting for a bit. So whenever the offer for $310 came through, I went ahead and accepted it. This is actually a piece that I sourced on Poshmark. I do often enjoy sourcing on Poshmark because these type of brands I typically wouldn't be able to find on my own out in the wild. I love Shack Fancy, and I thought this dress was so beautiful, so extravagant that I just had to get it. And I found it for a pretty good deal on Poshmark. I believe I made at least $100 profit on this particular piece. On March 20th, I sold this dress by Draper James. Draper James is Reese Witherspoon's line. And this dress was so fun because I thought it would be perfect for 4th of July. I sold this one for $50 and I purchased it at a local Goodwill here in Houston. Then on March 21st, I had 3 sales. The first one that I'm going to tell you guys about is this Brochure Walker merino wool sweater. This brand is definitely a bolo. They make a lot of high quality knits. So if you're able to ever see this brand in the wild, go ahead and pick it up. I sold this one for $45, and this was another boutique item that I found at Goodwill. I paid probably $15 to $20 for it. It sat for a little bit, and I probably could have held out for more, but I wanted to go ahead and just get it out the door because we're moving into spring and summer. Oh, and also it's kind of a plainer piece. It's not the most beautiful sweater, so things that don't quite fit my closet aesthetic, I prefer just to kind of move them along and get them out of my closet. That way I can bump them down to the bottom of my closet. My next sale for March 21st was this Free People jacket. It was this blue paisley bomber jacket. I sold this one for $50. And I love this piece. I had actually seen it whenever it was on sale at the Free People store, and I almost got it then, and I almost kept it this time around. But I got the offer for $50, which is pretty good for Free People, so I decided to let it go. I purchased this one at a thrift store here in Houston. Then my last sale for March 21st, and the most exciting sale on that date, was this pair of Valentinos. So these are the Valentino Rock Stud Espadrilles sandal. These I sold for $325. And these ones I had the box. I also had a spare stud and like a care card, so I do think that helped these sell. So funny story about these, I actually sourced 2 pairs at the same time. One was in a size 38 and then the other one was a size 39, the one that I just sold. And these I purchased retail arbitrage at Nordstrom Rack. You guys may have remembered whenever I shared about this over on my Instagram. I purchased them for about $100 or so. So I made at least $100 profit on each one. One of my goals for this year was to pick up more designer items. And one of those strategies in terms of picking up designer items is going to be me frequently going to Nordstrom Rack so that I can find deals like this. If I manage to find a pair in my size, I'm definitely keeping them. Then on March 22nd, I had 3 sales. The first one was this Lefleur cardigan. I sold it for $50, and I purchased this one at a Goodwill here in Houston. Next was this dress by Sandro. It featured this beautiful tapestry print. I sold this one for $50. Sandro is one of my favorite brands, like in terms of one of my personal favorite brands. It doesn't always sell well, even though it retails for a lot. So I think I priced this one around $100, but it sat for a good amount of time. So when the $50 offer came, I just went ahead and accepted it. I sourced this one at a Goodwill very close to my house, actually. I don't find a lot of good things at the Goodwill near me, but this was definitely one of the better finds. Then my last sale from that day was this Spell in the Gypsy Lolita sleeveless dress. Actually, it is not a dress at all. It is a shirt. I sold it for $50, and this one came from my personal closet. I just wasn't reaching for it. I probably wore it once or twice. Then on March 25th, I had two sales. The first one was this Anthropology maeve dress. This is the Lark Hill swing dress, and I sold it for $70. It was new with tags, and there's a couple of interesting things about this dress. So this particular dress, I've actually sourced it before at a Goodwill, and it sold really well. So I guess that's the first interesting thing. The second interesting thing about this particular dress is it's one of my favorites. I had tried it on whenever it was sold at the store at Anthropology. I took it home and it sat for a while with the tags on it, and I never ended up wearing it. So I just returned it to the store. But it still remains one of my favorite pieces by Maeve. I can't believe that I found it twice, and both times it was at Goodwill. Then my last sale was this Anthropology Casablanca skirt. It's by one of my favorite Anthropology brands, which is Banuni by Jody. I personally love wearing this brand. She makes really beautiful, intricate pieces. Often there's detailing such as embroidery or beading on it. And all of her pieces are just so pretty and feminine. I own several of her dresses myself, and I'm always looking for more. This one sold for $40. It didn't have the size tag on it. It was missing that part, so that's why I priced it a little bit lower than I normally would have. I picked this one up at a buy-sell trade store here in Houston. I picked this one up at Crossroads. And that completes my sales for March. The last of my sales were on March 25th. I didn't have any more sales that last week of March because I was traveling. I wish I could have still had my closet open and not on vacation mode, because this really was a good month for me, and I'm curious to see how many more items I would have sold. So let's take a look at some numbers. For the month of March, I made 34 sales. My highest sale was $500, and it was that Vampire's Wife dress. My lowest sale was $20. They're not things that I would typically pick up. First was that Marc by Marc Jacobs sweatshirt, and then the second one was that Stella Forest top. My average sale price was $88, but I'm gonna focus more on the median just because I had that $500 sale that's kind of moving the average a little bit higher. And so my medium price was $50, and that's kind of the number that I like to look at to determine what my average sales price was. My gross sales were $3,003, which is a really good month for me. I think sales are picking up because people are excited to shop again. Things are slowly opening back up, and so people have places to go again, and they're just in a shopping mood. So I'm hoping April will be just as good, if not better, than March, but I'll let you guys know whenever April comes around. All right, if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe and to hit the like button below. I'm gonna see what kind of video I wanna put out for you guys next week. If you guys have any ideas or wanna see something in particular, let me know in the comments below. I appreciate, as always, you guys watching and supporting me, and I'll see you guys next time. And it looks like it's gonna be a surprise what kind of video I'm gonna post. It'll be a surprise for you guys and for me. Okay, see you guys next time. Bye.